Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel, Tomcat Stitchery. I'm Whitney and I have a bit of a lookbook, kind of a hodgepodge video for you today. Okay, before we get started, look at this gorgeous, I thrifted this top. It's a J. Crew top in kind of this, it's really more orange. It's almost coral, which isn't really my color, but I think it's dark enough, has enough red in it that I can pull it off. But isn't that scallop neckline really cool? Yeah, thrifted, paid $2 for it. It's always very exciting. Okay, anyway, so over the weekend, I spoke, I think on Friday, that my local sewing group, we normally do a sewing retreat every year. We go to a cabin from like a Thursday to a Sunday and do nothing but sew together and fit each other, and everyone takes a meal, and so you're only in charge of preparing and cleaning up one meal, which makes life just so easy, and it's just great fellowship and just a really wonderful weekend. Obviously with COVID, we weren't able to do that this year, so one of our gals put together a very wonderful and organized virtual sewing retreat this weekend. And it was just delightful. It was just Saturday and Sunday, all day Saturday and then part of the day on Sunday. Although I told my family it was most of the day on Sunday too, because I basically told my family, you'll see me in the house, but I'm not really here. So I don't want to come in and asking questions, asking what's for dinner, any of that. I am not really here. So it was funny. I would come out, occasionally like to fill up my water cup or, go to the bathroom or something. And my son would be like, are you here or are you not here? Because I have a question. And I'm like, well, what's your question? Anyway, it was a delightful weekend. And one of the things I love most about this retreat is that the rule is, because everyone that's in this group, or not everyone, but most of the people, it started off being a group of professional seamstresses, so people that work for others. We now have friends of the organization that aren't professionals. They just sew for a hobby. But the rule has always been you have to work on something for yourself, meaning no client work, nothing like that. So I have just decided to hold on to that. And while I do sew for myself pretty much all the time anyway, my rule now is no sewing for channel stuff. I show you guys everything I make, so technically it does end up on the channel, but nothing like planned. I wasn't gonna work on any sew the looks. I wasn't gonna work on, anything, with the one pattern, 3 looks, nothing like that was planned for the channel, no sew alongs, any of that. I just wanted the freedom to walk into my sewing room, pick a couple of patterns that I'm just feeling inspired to make and making them. And you're gonna see that there literally was no rhyme or reason to what I made. In fact, it is currently 14 degrees outside here, Fahrenheit. I'm not sure what the wind chill is. We're in some sort of an Arctic blast right now. Yesterday it was only 1 for the actual temperature degree Fahrenheit. Our wind chills were sub-zero. Anyway, very chilly. So, and I did like some very summery sewing. So all of the footage you're seeing right now is actually me in my sewing room, because even in my sewing room, it was chilly to have these things on. It's so cold. But yeah, I just wanted the freedom to be able to wander in, pick stuff out. So in preparation for that, I just finished up coat month. My sewing room was a mess because I had been in, deep in the coat making process with so many of the coats, which by the way, I'm going to do, someone asked for just everything together just so they could see. And I'm going to do a picture montage at the very end of this video of all the coats together so you can kind of see, a recap, I guess, of coat making month. But my sewing room was a mess, so I was going to clean it. Vacuum, dust. Our hobby is so linty. There's just, dust gets created very easily when sewing is your hobby. So things just needed to be dusted, vacuumed. I cleaned, my serger was in a horrible state. So cleaned it out really, really well and oiled it and cleaned my other machines and just got everything really nice and cleaned. Organized my bobbins. If you follow me on Instagram, I posted a very aesthetically pleasing setup of my bobbins. I found that not only they were little pieces had come out and they were getting all tangled together. Like the threads get all tangled and it just looks messy. So I went through and trimmed off all those little stray pieces that had kind of gone through, which was that necessary, it just makes me feel better. But then I organized them by color just to make it easier for me to look and see, okay, do I have anything in that color? And of course, notice that I have quite a few colors where I have like 4 bobbins. Not completely full ones, but like half full, which is just, you know, why did I wind another one? There was no point. I didn't need to. So anyway, in doing all of that, I also had some fabric, mostly the linen that I purchased at the end of the season last summer on sale from the fabric store, the New Zealand shop. I had just stuffed it in places because my linen drawer was full. I had my fabric organized by type and then rainbow order by type. And my linen drawer was full. So I had just shoved, you know, folded it the way that I fold it kind of Marie Kondo style. I showed a video on that. But I had folded it like I fold it, but just kind of stuffed it in random drawers where there was some space just to get it put away, and that bothered me. So I went through and put the reorganized fabric a little bit, and that I got things put together with like items. So all of my fabric is together. My knits were kind of the same way. And we went through, you know, this like starts like a snowball where you just start just doing a whole bunch of stuff. And then I went through and our toy area in the basement, which we had planned on going through and really weeding out toys, you know, throwing things away that were just broken, donating stuff, and then putting things away that I did want to save for grandkids or something one day. But you know, we're in the process of turning our basement into a teenage friendly basement. So we went through all of those toys, and I have more of these container store baskets where I've shown you guys where I store my fabric that had the toys stored in them. So actually I stacked, there were 5 of them. 4 of them were the same size, and then one of them is narrower, and I'll probably end up taking that into my sewing room at some point. But for right now, it's next to our electric piano because it's got my daughter's music and all that kind of stuff in it. But the other 4, I stacked 2 on top of the other because those units, you can do that, and put them next to my cutting table. So the couch that was next to my cutting table got moved, and it'll be kind of a sitting area over where the arcade game, my husband and son are building an arcade machine, like the cabinet, the actual machine, like the old school arcade. It's their winter project. Anyway, it's over in that area. So yes, I totally, you know, I touched a lot of my fabric, got very inspired. You know, I just went and bought a whole bunch of patterns from Joann's when they had their big sale. So I basically was just grabbing fabric and cut things out, cut 4 things out on Friday night, got my pieces interfaced, you know, did all my pattern work that I needed to do on them, and I'm gonna show them for you here. And then I finished 3 of the 4 on Saturday. Sunday I finished the 4th dress, and then I still had some time. I wasn't ready to go back into the real world yet, and so I did a 5th thing, and I'm going to talk about that more here in just a second because it's a new pattern release from a pattern company that we all know and love. So let's start with that one actually. So Cashmerette, so this is the one that was kind of the tack on. Cashmerette is extending their size range. They are now going up to a size 32. With their cup sizes. I think their cup sizes go up to a G. H. They go up to an H. Anyway, so they've gone up, I think just one size, but they've decided to do a second banding of sizes from a 0 to a size 12. So their current size range is a 12 now to a 32. And then they now have a 0... It's either a 0 or a double 0 up to a size 12. So the 12 overlaps on both size ranges. Now, sometimes I can wear their size 12 for dresses and top patterns. My hips weren't in their regular size range. But now that they're doing this, they've released their first pattern, which is the Appleton dress. It's a knit wrap dress, and that is the first pattern they released when they started Cashmerette. So it is the first one to be released in the new size range. And I was actually sent a copy and asked if and I'd made the Appleton dress before when I was just a little bit heavier. I made the size 12, and now I'm like in the size 10. My battery's gonna die. 2 secs. Sorry about that. So I was sent the pattern and asked if I would like to play with the new size range. And I'm a size 10 EF cup is what I fall into right now. That upper bust is actually 35.5, and my upper bust is actually a 36. I have kind of a broad back though, but in order for things to fit my shoulders, I notice if I'm in, because I think a 12 is a 37 upper bust, I decided to size down, and I'm glad I did. It fits really well. And I did grade out to a size 12 at the waist. Because I think the waist of a size 10 is like 30.5 inches, and I am right at like 31 to 32 right now. Obviously you guys know that my waist can fluctuate drastically. So I went ahead and just graded up to a size 12 at the waist just for comfort, and then I went back down to a 10 at the hips because there is, I mean, it's built for a curvy body, so there is a definite like waist and then hip on her patterns, and sometimes that can give me elephant ears a little bit on my hips if I'm not careful. And this worked perfectly. So, like I said, I do own a couple of her, a few of her patterns because occasionally I can wear her smallest size in her tops and dresses. So anyway, I'm so excited about, I hope she releases everything. Like, there's so many. I really want to try the trench coat. I want to try the Hollybrook dress. She's got like a wide leg pant that I really want to try if she does that. Her Concord t-shirt, I've made that before, and that's really great because everything has the cup sizes, which is just so wonderful. Oh, even her, she's got just like a woven t-shirt top that's really cool. And I did make her dolman, like little tie front workout shirt for my activewear back in the summer. So good. I mean, her patterns are just really great, really well drafted. The instructions are really great. And they're all made for full bust. So it's just really great. Anyway, so I made the Appleton. Again, size 10. The only adjustment that I made was for length, so I always have to make adjustments for length because my legs are so short, or I'm just short. I shortened it by 3 inches. I probably could have gotten away with just 2. This dress is just a wee bit shorter. I mean, it makes it sexy. I mean, it's not too short, but it is a little bit shorter than I meant to. So I'll probably go back and add an inch to the pattern because I'm definitely going to make this a lot of times because I love a good wrap dress pattern. I love a wrap dress. I find it very flattering on most figures, but definitely one that I like on myself. I did the mid-length sleeves. It comes with a short sleeve, a mid-length sleeve, and a long sleeve. I made the mid-length sleeve. I did not shorten that, although if I make a full-length sleeve, I think I'll definitely probably have to take an inch and a half out. And again, I made the 10 everywhere except I did grade out to a 12 at the waist. What else? I made the dress as is, except instead of doing, like with all of my wrap dress patterns, I just put a buttonhole here right behind where the slit's supposed to go for the tie to pass through. I did a knit buttonhole right behind the seam on the back of the dress, and I did interface that area right there. Whoops. Sorry. Forgot to turn my ringer off. What else to say? This dress sews up so quickly. I mean, it's just, the neckband on it's just really gorgeous. The instructions are great. I already had navy thread on my cover stitch machine. This is the type of project that's so great to have a separate cover stitch and serger. Because, for instance, like the first step is you hem the front of the dress, which I did with a cover stitch. And then you go through and you're doing serging. You know, I serged the whole body of the dress, especially because I didn't have to leave a hole for my tie to pass through. I just did the buttonhole behind, so I was able to serge all of my seams really easily. And, you know, and then I'm going back to cover stitch to, you know, stitch down my neckband when it was time to do that. And then obviously I cover stitched my hems. I used the Sokeezy 1-inch double-sided stick tape in my hems. It just makes hemming so easily. The fabric is a rayon jersey that I got from Minerva, and actually I bought it for a Sew the Look for a different dress. I was gonna make a Forte dress from Love Notions, and it just never happened last summer. And when she sent me this pattern, I was like, oh, I wonder what I have in my stash. I was like, I really feel like something I wanna print. And I don't have a ton of knit prints in my stash. And I came across this one. I'm like, well, that's actually earmarked for another project, but I think this could really work. And I'm so glad I did. So I've made this pattern. It makes up well in like a double brush poly if you like that. I've made it in bamboo knit. This is a rayon knit. I think it would be gorgeous in a cotton jersey, like a cotton spandex. You do need something with stretch, so you definitely need something, cotton that would have some spandex in it, because it does have negative ease in it. Just to really hug the body. Oh my gosh, I just think this is such a good dress. But yeah, it has been released today. I'm filming this on Monday, and it was just released today, so now you can purchase it. I'll leave a link down to the pattern below. I do not have an affiliate link or anything. They just gifted me the pattern to try out now that they have the new size range. And yeah, what a great Valentine's Day dress. And I posted all of this on Instagram yesterday on Monday, today when I'm filming this, but yesterday for you when you're watching this. It's just a really great pattern. So this is really my only, and this isn't super like current weather appropriate. Like I probably won't be able to wear this for a couple of months, but as soon as I can. I just love a good wrap dress. So good. And that pattern is just so good. I'm just so excited that they are opening up another size range in their patterns, because I would like to try out their jeans patterns too. They do their Ames jeans have two different cuts. One is for an apple shape, so someone that's more straight through the hips, and I think that will be perfect for me because I think it's more, you know, not a lot of delineation between your waist and hips. Now I do think it's for more of a flat butt, but honestly, I used to always have a bubble butt. Always, like even when I would gain or lose weight, my butt would go out instead of wide, just the way I put on weight. But I think as I'm aging, my butt's not as bubbly as it once was. Isn't that the way everything is? Everything drops. Anyway, I think that I would like to try those Ames jeans patterns. I think that would be really good. And then the other one they have is for a pear shape. So if you have a, you know, small waist with a larger curve to your hip and butt. Anyway, just very thoughtful in the way she does out her patterns. Okay, so this is the only pattern you're not going to see on a body today because it's for my daughter and it's for Valentine's Day, and obviously I have not given it to her yet. So this is, oh my gosh, 2 secs, I need the patterns. My goodness, you would think I have not ever filmed anything. Okay, so this is pattern, I even left these all out so they'd be easily accessible. This is M8145. I bought this one in one of the pattern sales recently. This one I bought online from the Something Delightful, which is the McCall's company now, from a sale they were having. But I bought this one for my daughter. She picked out this pattern, but she doesn't know I've made it for her. And I made View B, which is this one with the cuffs and has a little bit longer. So View C it's a shorter band that goes on there, and she's got a long torso. So hopefully this one's okay, but I wanted it to at least hit and cover her, like her high-waisted jeans that she wears. And I used this beautiful cotton jersey. This is for stable knits. And so I used this cotton jersey. It's an organic cotton jersey from the fabric store. When I was placing one of my orders recently, they had this on sale. And this is totally, this orchid color is lilac, whatever you want to call this, is 100% one of her best. It's a really good color on her. And it's very much a spring color. But I grabbed it because it was on sale, and so glad that I did. I made her oh my goodness. I need a dog door in my sewing room. Hold on, Gidget's very angry. I mean, thanks for sticking around and watching these videos. Editing's gonna be fun today. Gidget was very angry. I shut the door. I mean, I'm the only one home. My kids are at school today. It's an in-person day for them. I mean, my husband's home, but he's being very quiet up there, so not on a call, but I had my door shut, so anyway. Okay, so there is literally, I mean, there is stretch in it because it's a knit, but not a lot, and the recovery is not great, so I thought this would be perfect for this pattern because you don't need a lot of recovery. Obviously, it's very oversized. It's got these nice deep cuffs, nice deep band. It's got these beautiful pleats here in the front. It's got a facing that I top stitched down. I did not have any thread this color, so I top stitched it down in a gray that I thought kind of went, I don't know, it's showing up more vividly on camera than it is in person. Anyway, hopefully she's fine with that. But I hate facings, so unless you can top stitch them down, then that's okay. Then, you know, then they stay put and they don't bother me. Anyway, this is a grown-on sleeve, although the back does have, it's a sleeve piece that goes on there, so it's a very interesting construction. But it made up super quickly. You gather the sleeve into this cuff. Yeah, I'm excited to see it on her. I'm hoping that it works well for her. She does know that I purchased this fabric. She knows that I bought that pattern because she picked it out, but she does not know that I made it. So, yeah, I'm going to stick that in a little Valentine for her for Sunday. So I'll definitely keep you guys posted and show you all what it looks like on her. So hopefully that'll be a good one to take her into spring, because she could wear that with shorts and stuff too as it gets warmer. All right, next up, let's do this one next. This is McCall's 8090. I just thought this was the cutest like summery dress. I really like the version that this gal here is wearing, which is View C, and that is the one that I made. Hello. However, let's see. This comes in the, okay, come on. You're being very disruptive today. Come on. She was all passed out under my husband's desk, but here she is. So I wanted to make you see in some of the cotton viscose that I had purchased at Joann's recently. And I had a good idea for the yoke and, here, let me show you the line drawings. For the yoke and then the contrast, you know, you can do a contrast here for the neck bands and all that kind of stuff. I think the difference between A and B is it's shorter. It's more, I guess it would be more of a top because, although I probably could have gotten away with keeping everything, if I kept everything the same length with just the 2 tiers, and it would have been a dress. So what I did was I made the size medium, which is a 12 to 14. I normally am a 14 in big 4 patterns. And I shortened the bodice piece by 1 inch because I wanted to, I mean, it's a drop waist, obviously, but I did want to raise it just a little bit. I wanted to keep proportion fine. But I was working with the large plaid, and it was this one. I had 4 yards of this. The pattern only calls for, I thought I was going to have quite a bit of leftover fabric. Because let's see, the pattern calls for, this is 45 inches, the fabric's 45 inches wide, and it only calls for 3.5 yards, but I used all 4 yards of fabric that I have because I had this plaid and I wanted to match the plaid around the dress. So I made nice big long strips. I mean, obviously it's not gonna match vertically because these tiers are all gathered, so there was no way to make those match, which you just live with it. I did cut my yoke on the bias, which I think looks really cute. And then I grabbed some of this real lightweight denim. It's a shirting weight denim that I'm gonna be making one of my 1 pattern 3 ways shirts out of, just because I thought I just really loved that light blue denim with the red plaid. Anyway, I ran out of fabric and didn't have enough to do, I was trying to decide, should I cut like the tiers shorter? Like what should I do about taking length out? And what I ended up doing was I left, this is called the skirt right here. This tier is called the skirt. And then this is tier 1, ruffle 1, and then ruffle, the last ruffle, I just did a teeny tiny one because I ran out of fabric and I had to cut the last strips of fabric in half to do the bottom tier. Now, this dress is a ton of gathering. So what I did was I took the skirt piece, because the skirt piece is actually curved, but it gets gathered into the bodice here, right here. And and there's gathering here underneath the yoke too. So I took the strips of fabric, I sewed them all together into one long strip, and then I used the gathering foot on my serger and just serged. So I only sewed up one side seam of those skirts and then just serged. And then when I, you know, got to the end of that, I cut it, and then I did the next level, which obviously I ran out of fabric, so I had to cut what I had remaining in half and then sew that on. And then I serged with the gathering foot that lower layer on. And then I sewed up the second side seam to make one big skirt. And then I attached it to the bodice, and I did gathering per normal for the skirt onto the bodice because it did have a curve. And it wasn't as drastic of gathering. Anyway, this is totally a summer dress. Maybe I can wear it for Memorial Day. I don't know. 4th of July. I mean, I'll get a ton of wear this summer because it is so comfortable to wear. I did self bias tape for the armholes. Let's see again, size medium. I did have to take the shoulder in, and what I did was I just cut it per normal, and then I put it on myself and marked where I wanted the shoulder to end because I did self bias tape. I was only going to be doing, you know, taking 1/4 inch seam allowance. So this was a little too wide, plus it had the 5/8 inch seam allowance on there because you can attach a sleeve. So I just marked where I wanted it to end and just cut from there basically. And then took that piece, that wedge that I cut off, and put it on the other side for it to match. And that's how I took my shoulders in on this on the fly. And it worked. Sleeveless is easy though, when you're doing it that way. Anyway, I love this dress. It turned out so good, just the way I was hoping it would. And again, won't be wearing this for quite a while. It was freezing, even just filming this, but it just felt good. Like I was in the mood to make that dress, and now it's made, and now it will be made up for the summer. Okay, next one I made, these two, I wanted to play around with the full bust adjustments on these. And I have another pattern that I bought in that big haul that also has the under bust seam line, and I will show you guys how to do that. But I did want to play around with it. So this pattern is McCall's 8104. So it is this one. I made view C here with the little grown-on sleeve. So it has this like little midriff panel, or the skirt, not really, it's not a midriff panel. The other one has the midriff panel. But it, you can kind of tell in the line drawings, the skirt seam comes up, so it creates an underbust seam. It's such a cute dress. I took the buttons up just a little bit higher. I was afraid it was going to be a little too plunging, and I'm glad I did. I love the grown-on sleeve option, although I think view B with the cute little, where it gathers into a cuff would be really cute. This is cute too, the one that she has on. It's got like a little ruffle frill on the bottom of the sleeve. It's a pretty easy dress, and then the view she has on also has like a gathered piece on the bottom. I had this wonderful rayon from Melanated Fabrics, and when they first opened, I purchased this fabric, and then it got back ordered, so it arrived later than the other stuff I ordered. Definitely lends itself more to this time of year, which is why I wanted to get made up, because it's a little darker colors. I think I could probably definitely layer this under like a jacket, a cardigan. I could put this over boots and wear it, not right now, but when it's, you know, a little bit, you know, early spring, I think I could definitely wear this. So I did the full bust adjustment, which is a little trickier with a dolman sleeve. Basically, you just cut the dolman sleeve off like a straight line, do your full bust adjustment, and then you just stick it back on. Usually there's like a little gap there. You just fill that in with paper, but that's how you do a full bust adjustment. It's actually not hard. It's just a little different. I think I did a little too much full bust adjustment on here. I added 3 inches, which is what I typically do. So I have a 3-inch difference right now between my upper bust and my full bust. I made the size 14, which is for a 36-inch bust, which is my upper bust measurement. And that typically works for me. And then I'll do a full bust adjustment, which is what I did. And I did the same full bust adjustment for this next pattern, which I think is perfect. So I don't know, it may be because this one has more ease. I could have gotten away with less. But when you do the full bust adjustment, obviously it gives you width this way, but then it also adds a little bit of length to go over the boob, which is what you need for an underbust dress. So I think this one did a little more than I needed. Also, I really wanted to use these gold buttons. I only had 6 though, so I'm like, okay, I think I can make it work. So I put snaps in where it was pulling just a little bit because these buttons are pretty far spaced out. Although, now that I have it on there, I mean, I could always go back and add in buttonholes, if you guys can tell. Hold on, let me button this second one. You can kind of see how far they are apart. Now I have snaps in between, an invisible snap that's like, that you can't see on the back side to keep this closed, but those are pretty far spaced. There's one there, and then there's one there. They're kind of hard to see on there too. So now I'm thinking I may go back and just add a buttonhole in between each of these. So that would be 11 buttons on the front. And then just find a new button. I mean, this is like a 1/2-inch button, so that's not going to be hard to find. And you really kind of lose the button in the fabric anyway. So I may go back and do that. I probably will go back and do that. And then get rid of the snaps that I hand sewed on there. I mean, they work, but, you know, you lose the button anyway. It's not as neat. They kind of catch the light there, as I thought it was going to be. But I really love this dress. It's very comfortable. I think I would maybe go in, and honestly, I think the width is probably fine, but I maybe would go in and just shorten the bodice by, you know, I'll just pinch out what I think so that this upper piece here, the skirt, you know, it kind of comes up here where it sits just a little bit closer under my bust, which is an easy thing. There's a lengthen and shorten line on the pattern, so on the bodice of the pattern, so just lengthening or shortening that would be very easy. So yeah, and all the shaping here is with gathers, and that's really easy to do with a full bust adjustment as well. But yeah, really love this one. I mean, it's going to get worn a lot, but I would like to make it again and just shorten that bodice, and I think that it would be then perfect. Okay, final dress is McCall's 7974. Sean from Kittenish Behavior has made this quite a bit. I knew that it was going to be low cut because she complained about that. She's had to raise it, I think, twice now. So I did go ahead and I raised mine 2 inches right off the bat, and I think that that's about perfect for me. I made View D, well, View D, it's this one. View D, this is a maxi length. I just don't wear maxis. So I made View D, but I made it the midi length, and I still took 3 inches off because I'm just short. And I think it ended up perfect. I love the length on me now. It's just the midi length that I want. But yeah, I did all, the rest of it's all View D. I did the little collar on there that you can kind of see maybe a little better on the line drawing. So the VUD's got a little collar. I wanted it sleeveless for layering and then just also for the summer. Although I would like to try, I think, some of the other, I probably won't try that sleeve just because my arms are big and that's just going to draw attention where I don't want attention. But I'd be very interested in trying this sleeve, I think. I don't know about this sleeve. Seems like a lot of work. But I think definitely that sleeve I would be interested in trying. It's just a really gorgeous dress. And for this one, I used fabric from Minerva. It is a viscose challis, which the previous one was a viscose challis too, that is just absolutely gorgeous. And I've paired, matched this one 2 different ways. So you can see how I can wear it for the summer and also how I could wear it, again, not now because a viscose dress, a rayon dress is very chilly to wear right now when we've got sub-zero temperatures. But, you know, when we get into March and April, I think I can definitely layer it up and get some wear out of it and get a little spring feeling there. Let's see what else. I used these beautiful buttons from my stash. It's a plastic button, but they're vintage ones, and I had 10, so I put 10 down the front of it, which works better, which is why I think I should just add more buttonholes and then just put a different button on the front of that other dress, and I think that will solve probably a lot of my issues that I'm having, and that might actually tighten it up enough down the front of the bodice to where it will maybe sit under my bust a little bit closer. But, you know, I had 10 of these buttons, used all 10. I think it worked really well. Raised the neckline by 2 inches just to give me some modesty. I love this fabric. Now, this fabric is part of their maker group that I'm in. So I was given the fabric in exchange for a post, which is not yet up on the Minerva site, but it will be as soon as I get some decent pictures in this. I did take pictures this morning, but I want to get like some good ones. Have my husband take some. When it's not stupid cold outside. This one will probably be photographed maybe in my living room even, but anyway, love this fabric. It's just so beautiful. There's like all these teals and then there's just a little bit of like a pale lavender that's just kind of in there. It's just so pretty and springy. And this kind of a sherbet color is one of my colors, so I have quite a bit in that kind of color family. And then obviously teal. I mean, teal's a great color. I think almost everyone can wear teal. So there you have it, guys. Those were the 5 things that I made over my sewing retreat this weekend. Again, it was a lovely time. I am tempted to actually institute a sewing retreat for myself, even if it's just, you know, me in my sewing room, but just as kind of a palette cleanser, like maybe once a quarter, where I just tell my family, okay, this weekend is sewing retreat weekend. I'm out of pocket, you know, all day Saturday, Sunday. I'll see you Sunday night. Type of situation where I can just be creative because I'm just feeling very fueled, very inspired, and just really good now that that weekend is over. My back is killing me, so I'm gonna have to take it easy on sewing for a couple days, but just from sitting for so long and not getting up and moving around because I was focused. But yeah, I think that that would be a good thing creatively for me to do, maybe once a quarter, 4 times a year. And you know, it's not, you know, it's just a matter of my family figuring out life without me for 2 days and 1 night. And I'm still here, you know, if they have any burning questions. But yeah, it was a really good weekend and fun to be able to do that. Okay, I am going to put at the end of this video a little montage, picture montage of all of the coats I made, and I am including Simplicity is at 8797. It's the long red coat, which I actually made during Vlogmas. You haven't seen it formally on the channel yet because I'm actually putting that with the Sew the Look, so you'll be seeing that one again later in the month of February. I'm just including it in coat making month because that's actually kind of what kicked off coat making month. I actually did it in December, but it kind of kicked off everything. So yeah, I'll put pictures of that one in as well. But yes, you haven't formally seen it, just in Vlogmas. I showed you guys how to sew a notched Revere collar on that one. But yes, you'll be seeing it again for a Sew the Look here in a few weeks. Okay guys, that's all I have for today. I hope you all are having a wonderful Tuesday, and I will see you guys again on Friday. Have a good week. Bye. It's too bad we can't have the volume on for this. Wait, no, don't walk in here. Don't walk in here. Mom, I'm filming. You can blow the horns, but just don't walk in here quite yet, okay? Hey guys, go. Oh, there's Mom. I'm just filming. Okay, now unbutton it and like, let's do some lighting. Show the lighting. Yeah, show the lighting.